more often than not, we end up waiting for God and waiting on what God has for us in the future. And we begin to worry, we begin to question how God is going to do something in our lives. And God calls us to be patient. He wants us to endure everything and to have faith. Many times He makes us wait because He wants us to build up our faith, to build up a trust in Him. And it's in those times where we really need to actually trust in Him, to learn how to trust in Him, and to be able to endure everything in His name. But sometimes God will show you what's at the end of the road, but He's never going to show you how to get there. Because if He showed you how to get there, then most of us would just crumble up in fear because we don't want to go through it. God will take us through the storms so that we can see like the rainbow and sunshine at the end of the road. But sometimes He will show us what's at the end of the road, but He wants us to trust in Him that He's going to establish our paths. And a lot of us just struggle with that. Personally, I struggle with it a lot. I try to trust in Him more. I've been trying to build it up recently, but there's certain situations in one's life that require insane trust. And you have to really learn how to trust God in these situations, because God sometimes puts situations in your life where the only one who can actually resolve it is Him. And in the end, once it's resolved, the only one you can give glory to is Him, which is good, of course. But that's what we all want. That's what we all need. God knows what we need. He doesn't give us what we want. He gives us what we need. Obviously, He does give us what we want. But the thing is that sometimes He'll hold off on it because it's not what you need in the moment. He'll give you what you need in the moment. So a lot of the times He just wants us to trust in Him, have patience with Him. He wants us to wait with Him and not wait on Him. Well, we can wait on Him as well, but the thing is that He wants us to wait with Him, because during the wait with Him, He wants us to build ourselves up to be able to sustain what He has for us at the end. We're supposed to grow in Him, grow in our faith, read our word, get in our word, fast, pray, build up all these things, because He wants us to reach a level where we will be able to sustain what He has for us. For example, there's things in my life right now that obviously it's a major setback, yeah, but one day I pray that through through praying and fasting and through God's guidance, that I'll be able to get through with it. Because honestly, there's a situation in my life where God has called me to wait on somebody, and it's difficult. Yeah, it is difficult. Obviously, you want that thing now. You want to like pursue them now, but the thing is that when you really come down to it, when you really think about it, you're just not ready for it. And obviously, God has put it in my heart that I should wait and to be patient, and that the major setback now is just something that He halted for us. But I've still been praying about it. I've just been getting the feeling in my heart to wait, and it's the only thing I can do right now, to wait and trust in God. And obviously, maybe they'll watch this someday, but you know who you are. You'll see one day. But honestly, it's honestly beautiful to be able to wait with God and to be able to grow with Him, because obviously I don't know what's ahead of us. I don't know what we're going to do in the future, what's going to happen, right? Obviously, I have something in mind, and in case you're wondering, it's a relationship, yes. But there's things where we have to be able to grow with God, to only trust in Him, because honestly, this situation is one of those situations where it's only God that can make it work. But I plan to trust in Him the whole way through it, and if it's not meant to be, then all I can do is pray to God that honestly, God knows that He has something better for us in the end, and He knows why He puts us through these different kinds of situations. He wants us to grow. He wants us to understand something. And honestly, sometimes God, like I said, God will show you what's at the end of the road. Because I remember I prayed this prayer one time, and it came to me last night, to be honest, when I was praying. I remember I prayed to God to show me what's at the end of the road. I asked Him, can I see what's at the end of the road? So I can like have motivation to go through with it, everything. Like, because when you see something, when you see like the prize at the end, obviously you're gonna say, oh, okay, so everything I'm going through is worth it. That's what I said. I asked God, can I see what's at the end of the road? And I was praying to God about the situation, and He reminded me about that prayer I made. Now, this prayer was like has to have been at least a year ago, probably more, but it's incredible how that long ago, well, not too long, but you get what I mean. That long ago, he answers your prayers now. It's honestly beautiful, because a lot of the times we like to rush things. We like to do things in our time, but God has a different schedule. You've most likely heard in the Bible how one day for God is 7,000 years for us, or a couple thousand years for us. I can't remember the name on top of my head, but it's beautiful how everything is done in God's timing, and we have to learn how to trust in His timing, trust in His word. You know how Psalms 27:14 says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord." All we can really do is wait on God, wait with God, wait on God, and to grow ourselves through it. And I plan to wait on God's timing, because honestly, when you wait on God's timing, it'll take a lot. It'll take a lot longer than you really wanted to, but in the end, it'll last forever. Because obviously, through your own timing, you can make things happen like this, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna last any longer. Which is what I learned the hard way. I guess I rushed things, but God has put it in my heart to slow down. Obviously, I thought about it. I slowed down, but I guess I got the best of me. So I guess I reap what I sowed. But now all I can do is wait on God and see what happens. To wait to see what He does in my life, and this goes for many other people too. Because a lot of the times we like to rush things, we like to do things in our time, and in all honesty, it's not the best way. It's not the best way to approach things, and you should be more patient on God, because during that waiting season, He'll grow you into the person that you need to be by then. And, He'll grow you into the person that other person needs, because there's things I lack right now that obviously wouldn't help us down in the future. So there's things that I have to work on, probably things that she has to work on. But in the right time, if it's God's will, then He'll do something, And that's what we all can hope on, what we all have to pray on, that one day God will work on us and work through us. Because sometimes He'll put situations in our life that aren't necessarily meant for us, but are meant for other people. For example, you can be going through a certain situation right now, but maybe that situation won't necessarily help you necessarily, but maybe somewhere down the line, a friend or a relative or somebody will be going through the same exact situation. But since you've already been through it, you know how to get through it with the wisdom that God gave you, with the testing that God gave you, and now you know how to get through it, and you can help them in God's name. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to help somebody, to be able to spread His word. And this whole journey is something that I'm looking forward to, and I don't know where it'll take me, to be honest, and I look forward to everything. But I hope people through this video, these couple videos, can reflect on what they've done, and to have patience more, to have more patience on God, and to wait on God, to trust in Him with all your heart, and don't lean on your own understanding. Because once you lean on your own understanding, you come to realize that you know nothing. You really don't know nothing. And obviously God's ways are not our ways, neither are His thoughts our thoughts, as it says in Isaiah. And right now, obviously I don't understand what God is doing, but that verse kept popping into my mind. I'm not sure where it is, but I remember the quote. You don't see what I'm doing now, but someday you don't understand what I'm doing now, but someday you will. And it's very comforting, to be honest, because sometimes God halts things in your life because obviously you're not ready for it, but in the end, it's all up to us. If we don't focus on God, if we don't seek first His kingdom, then we'll never be ready for what He has for us. Maybe we're ready, but we don't know it. Or maybe we're asking for things, but we're asking for the wrong reasons. So I hope that people through this video can finally reflect on how they're doing with God, their relationship with God. And it's a beautiful journey. I'm going to be completely honest. It's a beautiful journey. And, maybe I'll look back on this and maybe we'll have bigger news, So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy.